Hey, this is Colin, also known as Little Hurt, and I'm hanging out with Rob on Front Row Live.
The second show, and listening to the music, I feel like the band has been going on for some time now, because it's like obviously you have been in the music industry for some time. So even though you're starting over with this new project, like it shows that like there's so like you have all that experience. But talk to me about that transition going from a full band to now doing it solo by yourself.
Well, I appreciate that you have faith in me, by the way. It really means a lot that you said those words to me with your mouth. It's been crazy. It's like I went from a band of 6 people. I was in another band before this for 10 years. I have been doing this for a long time,
Yeah.
And just to wipe the slate clean and totally start over has been like a pretty wild experience, like, as you can imagine. I have an awesome band that, I hired to play with me because that's what you do when you're a solo artist.
Right.
But for the big picture stuff, I'm really alone, and that's been a crazy transition because I'm not always the most organized dude. So I'm lucky to have an awesome team,
Right. It always helps. That always helps. But tell me about that transition from like initially being in a punk band to now doing this more of a what would you call this project? Like pop rock, alternative? Like
Well, I didn't know the Mowglis were a punk band until just now.
I'm talking about before the Mowgli.
Oh, you're talking about way back in the day.
Way back in the day.
I think that's awesome. Those are my roots, man. That's like why I think that I make music that's up tempo and loud, and it's all pop. It's alternative. It's like very poppy. I love writing catchy music because I love listening to catchy music. But it's all kind of the same thing for me. Like I'll put on like a Ariana Grande song, and then I'll put on like I'll put on a fucking Propaganda song, and then I'll put on a I just love music that makes me it makes me feel good.
Yeah. So as you're creating music for this project, you're about to drop your 3rd single this Friday.
Correct.
Talk to me about the creative process.
Is it this Friday?
It's this Friday already, man. Time is flying. January felt like 3 months, but then February is almost over.
Right. It's also good because that helps me remember Valentine's Day, which I got to remember. But yeah, so sorry, what was the question?
Talk to me about this song in particular and like the creative process behind it. Did you go back in the studio with Ruffian for this one, and what was that collaboration like?
Yeah, this was the first song we wrote for Little Hurt. Kind of like as I was sort of phasing myself out of the Mowglis, we sat down and we wrote this song, Better Drugs, me and Ruffian Rob, and 2 other guys, Cameron from Twin XL and my friend Eli from American Teeth. We sat down one night just drinking wine, and we wrote this song, and I was like, wow, this is actually really good. Maybe I do a solo thing, or because like the song totally is like encapsulates me, and it's like very honest to me, and so much to the point that it kind of feels weird. But and then I sent it off to some people, and they were very interested. Like my label was like, who I signed to now, they're like, this is amazing. Are you interested in working together? And that was all off of this song that we're about to put out.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
So, being that this was the first song that you created for this project, like why did you feel like how come you didn't release it as like the debut single? You left it for like closer to the EP release.
Yeah, so this is the one that's going to radio and stuff, and so I think that they wanted to build a little bit of a story. Like I sound like a fucking A&R right now, but I think I would imagine what they were thinking was, you got to build a little bit of the story, have some stuff up on the internet, a couple songs, get people familiar with the project, so that when we then take a song to radio, there's like a little bit more to grab onto, so people aren't like Googling Little Hurt and finding nothing besides one song. That's what I think.
Makes complete sense.
Yeah, I don't know. If I'm wrong, like, send your comments and questions to him or whatever.
So talk to me about the creative process as far as like writing these like catchy ass songs, because it's how do you do it? Is it the melodies that you create that make the song catchy, or is it the lyrics that you create that make the melodies even catchier?
I think that there's truth to both of that. I think that I'm obsessed with writing catchy melodies. I think it's one of the hardest things to do in music, is write something that, like, everyone can go like play a show for 40 people, but to have a song that can appeal to 40 million people is a art in itself. And anyone who tries to knock pop music is fucking a dinosaur and like living in the past, and like, get with it, bro. Like, it's hard, man. It's really hard, and I'm obsessed with the challenge. And so I think that the melodies are what makes it catchy. I think that having something unique and something people haven't heard necessarily in the lyric is what sort of drives a catchy melody home.
So as you're prepping for that debut EP, I got to listen to it on my drive here actually, and I really dig the 5-6 songs that you have on there. Tell me about like what made you decide these 5 tracks for this EP? Like, what is it about these songs that like you feel are perfect for that introduction?
They were the first 5. Just kidding. That's not the real answer. I actually have a lot of songs. We narrowed it down to these 5 because they felt like the most in line with what I'm trying to do with the concept behind this project, what it means. Like Little Hurt is supposed to be like the most honest, that place that you tap into that's uncomfortable. And these 5 songs are that. And they're just like, they were hard to write. They were hard to, the situations that they're about were hard. Yeah. And I knew that I wanted to make music that when I sang it, it made me feel a little bit uncomfortable.
And like, tell me about you opening up to your audience just by yourself. Like, there's no other people that can bounce off ideas as far as like, oh, this, you know, we can relate to my story as well. This is all you. So like, getting vulnerable to your audience now. I know you've been in the industry for some time, but when you get vulnerable, it's different for the very first time. How was that for you?
Yeah, it's definitely like a different experience to be up there alone and to be, you know, like there's no one to hide behind. Yeah. Like people know that these stories are my stories, and they know. They're looking at me, and you know, in the past there was like 78 other people on stage or whatever we had in the Mowglis, you know. So like, it's just me and like them, and it's been weird, and it's gonna take some adjustment for me, like as a performer and a frontman, to be like as powerful as I can be in that moment, and I'm still learning, you know, every day.
Right. And just like you had collaborations with this song, as far as like writing goes, like it's cool that you're on Red Music, because there's another lyricist that I really love on Red Music, Mitchie Collins, who's in a band called Lovely the Band. Have you guys kind of teamed up or collaborated, or like are there any plans of maybe even doing so? Because I feel like putting the two of you together would be something crazy.
Me and Mitchie have not collabed as of yet, but I would imagine that will be down the line at some point. Yeah. That's definitely not out of the realm of possibility.
Right. So, you know, now that this song's about to drop, the EP's like getting ready, like do you have a date for this EP yet? Are you still kind of figuring out if you want to add or take away a song from that?
Yeah, you know, I didn't even really consider about the fact until just now that I could add or take away a song. Thank you for saying that. I got you, man. I don't know that we have a release date for the EP yet. I think that everyone's super hyper focused on this single and the rollout for the single and making it, you know, the best and most meaningful release we can have. And then I think that when this single is out in the world and it's going, I think that those conversations will probably then start taking place within the team.
Right. Now, you know, with your experience with music in the past, like what are you doing differently this time around as far as like releasing your music or putting it out there, or even like kind of starting to promote it? Like, do you see yourself doing anything different this time around?
Well, you know, in the past, I think when I was younger and I was signed to different labels, I took it all for granted. I was like young, and I was like, the band was popular, and I was like, this is cool. This is gonna last forever. Yeah. Well, it doesn't. And like I recognize the situation that I'm in right now, and I'm very lucky to have the people that I have around me pushing hard and fighting for me. And so I need to be there in the trenches with them, fighting and working just as hard, instead of kind of leaning back and waiting for it to be done for me, like I did when I was, you know, I probably signed my first deal when I was like 19. Now I'm like 750 fucking 6. No, you know, I think that now I just need to stay like hyper focused and don't let any of the extracurriculars that come along with this job get in the way the way that they used to.
So what's next after these shows right here? Any plans for like some mini tours, some shows, you know, overseas? Like what do you have going on right now?
Yeah, I think we were talking maybe about UK was up in the air. I don't know exactly where they're going to send me, but I know that they are going to send me somewhere probably for a very long time. Yeah. So I'm
trying to get rid of you already.
No, they're like, we'll get this guy's a pain in our ass. Like he can be a pain in our ass in Europe, dude. No, I know. They're trying to get something going. I think that so much has just gone into getting this single ready. But I know that there's people out there that are working on that as we speak, probably.
Awesome, dude. Well, thanks for hanging out with me, Colin.
Man, you're awesome.
You guys be sure to check out Little Hurt. New single is going to be out this Friday, probably out by the time you're watching it. It's called Better Drugs, and thanks for watching on Front Row Live.